All right, so we have our blocks handy. We are on our backs. Leg position this morning, because this is hips and hammies. I ask you to come into that reclined cobbler pose, supine Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, the knees wide. And because it is early, and for some of us out here in the West, it is a little cold on the floor. So maybe, support the outer thighs with a pillow or blocks so that you don't feel the need to hold the knees up. Just let them splay out. Lift the chest on the inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades underneath you. Pick up the head. So hopefully you have the head supported if you've got the elevation in the thoracic spine. We don't want the head to just be cranked back. Keep the chin close to the chest, lengthen the back of the neck. And then here, just allow yourself to settle. Without any manipulation, your rhythm of breath. Maybe for the only time during the day, notice it. Notice its length. Notice whether it's a shallow breath and sometimes we find that when we actually pay attention to the breath automatically changes on its own. Like a performer knowing that everybody's watching. It just gets bigger and bigger and fuller and fuller. And then we allow the exhale to be slow. So like if you were starting at the crown of your head, as you exhale, everything just begins to melt down to the mat. And we begin to kind of take that body scan, because once everything melts and settles, we kind of feel those points that might need a little more attention this morning. So just check in with yourself here. I've been reading a great book called The Practice is the Path. The chapter I'm in right now is how much we try to impose on ourselves to be in the perfect pose, in the perfect space. And almost to our detriment, we're worried so much about how we look, and we're talking yoga here, and how we're supposed to be aligned, and we forget to feel the feels. So this morning, as we clean out, as my favorite teacher used to say, our human junk drawer, as we work into the hips, the psoas muscle, the hamstrings, don't worry. And that's the beauty of a home practice, right? Even though we're together, nobody sees you. So don't worry about how it looks. Worry about how it feels, and how any tweaking of a movement might change how it feels in your body on this day at this moment. And one of the quotes, and I love Leonard Cohen, but one of the quotes is, "Ring the bells that still ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That is how the light gets in." Take a full breath now. Expand through the ribs. Let the breath go. Hands to the outer thighs. Draw the knees together. Let's roll to one side. Remove whatever is underneath your back. Let's take a full body stretch. Now, we're going to be using our blocks this morning to come into a supported bridge pose. Again, I always like to caution, even if you want to go high on your blocks, use the length side of the block. Maybe stack 2 or 3, doesn't matter. Please try to avoid stacking the block on its end, because it doesn't have the full support from hip bone to hip bone that the block has on one side. And you can always stack as many blocks as you need. So as you come down, you take the full body stretch, fingers away from the toes, kind of wiggle it out, feel what you feel. And then bend the knees back, coming into that setup for your bridge position. So the feet are hip distance, the knees pointing up towards the ceiling, a little bit of a tuck into the pelvis so it almost feels like you've got a bowl in your belly. And then take your block into the hands, press into the heels of your feet to lift the hips up. So roll the weight onto your shoulders, just find a bridge for a moment. So a bridge is a very passive back bend, but it's also a great opening from the knees through the quads to the hips, the ribs to the shoulders. No weight in the head, no tension in the neck. Take a breath. And then whatever you're going to use under the sacrum, and the sacrum is that shelf between the hip points, not the flesh of the buns, it is not the low back. It's a very natural shelf that once you place your block down and you lower the weight of the hips, you feel the support there. There's no strain. So get yourself comfortable. And again, if you want to go higher, stack 2 blocks. Just give yourself the support that you need. And then with the hips elevated, shoulders soft, again, re-squeeze through the shoulder blades. So we drop those shoulder heads down, tucking in the chin. Upper body now super relaxed. Right leg extends to the ceiling, left leg joints. Some call this waterfall, some call it mermaids, some call it a version of legs up the wall. So just take a moment. This is where you're going to test what is underneath the support of your sacrum. So make, again, any adjustments that you need. And then come back to your breath. The legs are right over their hip points. Maybe if we want to open up the chest, the arms can go out to a T, where the arms can rest overhead on the back of the hands, just finding some length in the whole side body. Let's wake up the toes, the feet, the ankles. So a point and a flex. Waking up the calves, the front of the shins. Reaching the toe as far to the ceiling as you can to open up the top of the feet. Maybe circle through the ankles one way and the other. And again, just watch. The rest of the body is still. This is only targeting the ankle and the toes and the foot. And then spread the toes, pinch them in like a fist, spread them again. And then just free movement, anything that you feel like you need. Change the position of your arms so that they're overhead. Bring them out to the side. And then take a nice flex into the feet so the heels reach towards the ceiling, the toes point down towards your face. And just pause there and notice the back of the legs. Next breath, take that point, toes up towards the ceiling, the front of the ankles, the shins, the knees, the quads, everything engages. And with your toes pointed, begin to open up the legs right and left. So big wide V up in the sky. Point those toes out on a diagonal. Again, no movement in the upper body. We are at rest. And just let the weight of the legs and gravity deepen the stretch here. Your only job is to breathe and to notice what you notice. Toes are pointed. Maybe you feel the engagement of the inner thigh. Change the foot position to a flex. Heels press away on a diagonal. And with the next inhale, the legs will come together overhead again to that legs up the wall version. Just pause. And then point and open. And we're going to move now with breath. So open again. Exhale all the air out as the legs are that wide V. And flex the foot, draw the in-breath and bring it back, nice and slow. And let's take 5, as slow as you can go. Point and open. Let them hang there. Flex. And come back to that neutral legs up. 4 more on your own. Remember to pause. You could certainly do this fast, but it would not be as powerful or as effective. So adding in maybe another element as you bring those legs back up to that neutral legs up the wall, squeeze through the glutes and notice how that feels. I have 1 more. And let's all meet with that wide angle V shape, heels pressing away, taking a breath. We're going to rotate this into half circles with the legs. So we're going to take the feet to a point. Again, point, bring the right leg towards the head, the left leg towards the bottom of the mat. Move slow. Circle through the hips, maybe the right leg even comes across the body a bit, as does the left towards the right corner. And then circle back around. So hold the width of the legs. Just begin to move in a circular pattern, front to back. Take 3 more. Returning to that wide V, toes are pointed. Change that to a flex. Draw the legs together, back to center, one leg up the wall. And then bend the knees and bring the feet to the floor, back to that first bridge position. Readjust your block or whatever you're using. Again, another squeeze into the shoulder blades just to settle yourself down. Pick up the right foot, cross that right ankle over the left thigh. And without any force, let the right knee just fall. And as that right knee falls, the rest of the body is completely soft. And notice here what's happening around the right hip. And if you don't feel anything, again, we want that right foot flexed. Maybe the hand, finger pads come into the inner thigh, and we just kind of not press down, we press away. We take that fingertips and we press them into the thigh like we could press the thigh towards the back of the mat. And then whatever length or space that gives you, release the hand and just pause there. This external rotation through the hip, we don't get in our daily activity. So just pause and feel it. And then release that, bring that left knee into the chest. Give it a little squeeze. Extend the right leg up to the ceiling. Again, the foot is flexed. And as slow as you can go. And I'm going to hold on to my block because I have one of these foam blocks that isn't as sturdy as I would like. But as slow as you can go with that flexed foot, as slow as you can go, Let's bring the right heel down to the mat. So in the halfway point, all of a sudden there's an engagement in the core. It's a little bit of lengthening into the right hip flexor. Once the heel comes down, and again, you can adjust your block accordingly if it's too high. Press the heel down and press it away. And then use your breath to soften. This muscle, this hip flexor, connects the psoas here, the lower body to your upper body. It is the muscle that allows you to walk and to run, to lift your leg. It also connects the front of the body to the back of the body. So we don't want to overstretch the psoas, but all the sitting that we do all day long, again, keep pushing the heel away. Feel into the feeling. All the sitting we do, it tightens, it shortens the psoas muscle. And so if you're working all week long sitting, this is a stretch that you want to take slowly. And maybe instead of extending that leg long, you keep it just somewhat bent. So you feel into you. But see if you can just bring some feeling, some length into that part of your inner thigh. And take 3 breaths. Just as a caveat, you never want to do this first thing. Just like what we were just working through the hips, just to kind of warm up the inner hip, outer hip. You always want to warm up first so that you're not just bringing a stretch right into this deepest muscle that we have. Taking a breath. And then return. Right foot joins the left back into that supported bridge position. Readjust whatever you have to adjust. And as we move over to the left side, remember we always have a dominant and we always have a weaker side. So we respect what we feel. Draw the left knee into the chest. Give it a squeeze. So here you're really contracting the hip flexor. Extend slowly the left leg up to the ceiling. Lead with the heel. Toes flared, pointing down towards your face. Nice and slow. We're going to lower that left leg. And we move slow so that we can feel all the parts of the body that have to support this movement. Let the heel come down. Begin to engage that left hip flexor, the left psoas muscle. And once the heel again arrives, adjust your block accordingly so that you can press the heel down and away. And then use your breath. Maybe this side is more open, or maybe it's a lot tighter. So just soften the body with the breath. Enjoy this opening. Three more, nice and slow. Then we will rebend into the left knee. Plant the left foot and just pause there, level out the hips. Readjust your block if you need to. Both legs extend up towards the ceiling. Again, big toe mounds, heels, knees come together, squeeze through the inner thigh. Nice and slow, both legs are going to lower down. And if you feel this in your low back, start initially with the legs bent so that when you bring both heels down now and slide them away, maybe separate the feet here. Feel into the hip points. Notice which hip flexor still feels a little tighter than the other. And whatever one that is, and I say this about every pose that we do, the weaker side, come back to that side. So mine is definitely my left. I'm going to plant my feet again back into that bridge position. I'm going to extend my left leg up, but whatever side felt tighter to you, one more time, revisit, extending that leg down, rest on its heel, press it away, and just relax. And let your body do the work for you here to soften and lengthen. One more breath. And pull it back in. We're going to press into our feet. We're back into that bridge position. We're going to press into our feet. We're going to lift the hips off of the block. We're going to spend 3 breaths here in our bridge. So you have a choice. You can interlace underneath you to squeeze the shoulder blades together, lifting the hips. You can take your fist up to the hips if that's not too much for you to kind of hold that bridge up. The weight is across the shoulders and the back, not in the head and not in the neck. You take 3 breaths. And then nice and slow, release the fist if you have them, arms out to the side. Roll down your spine from the shoulders, through the shoulder blades, through the middle back, the ribs, to the low back. And you arrive, draw the knees into the chest, take a rock from one side to the other. Then come back to that center, really pull the knees in, give yourself a hug, let the tailbone ride up just a bit so you get this nice curve through the low back, counter stretch to where we just were. And then plant the feet to the edges of your mat, toes pointing away from you. Drop the knees over to the right like a windshield wiper. And just pause. And then back to center and to the left. So you're rolling through the hip points, right and left. Massage there. As fast or slow as feels good. And then we'll deepen this just a bit by heel toe the feet back to that parallel hip distance apart. Pick up the right ankle, find that figure 4 position. Now we're flat on our back. Figure 4, right ankle on the left thigh, the foot is flexed. Again, arm position, don't forget your upper body here. Maybe find a cactus position with the arms, just again, bring in the upper body. And we're going to just roll through this now. So on the inhale, that right knee heads over to the right. Maybe it taps over there, maybe it doesn't. And then we come back through center and level out the hips and take it left so that the right sole of the foot comes down either to your block or to your mat. Use your core to pick back up and then rock it to the right. So the outer right thigh, the right knee comes over to the right. And then we come left. So just roll through that. Again, it's not just a massage. You can probably feel the right hip opening towards the glutes. Just use your breath. And take 2 more side to side. And as you finish, come back to neutral. Again, let the hips settle, the pelvis settle. Unwind, right foot comes down to the mat, pick up the left, put that left ankle onto the right thigh, flex through the left foot. And we'll do the same thing on this side and just notice again any difference. Left knee to the left, maybe it taps as you come on to the outside of the left hip. Use your core, let's bring it back up, take it over to the right. So the right toes, the right sole of the foot comes to a block or the mat. And then just roll with it. Let's take about 5. And returning back to that neutral position. Again, level, just pause to level out the hips. Unravel, let's take that full body stretch. If you're joining us for a shorter practice, this is the time to turn off your device, to separate the feet to the corners of the mat, to let your arms extend out to the side, and to enjoy just a few moments with yourself in Shavasana. If you're continuing on with me this morning, take one final stretch. And then plant the feet again, roll to one side, and make your way to a seat. And keeping the legs extended, good. Take a nice jiggle of the legs, whatever, I don't know what we call this, just a little bit of a release. And then use your hands and gently pick up the right knee. Draw the right heel in close to your sit bone as you hug in the right knee. And when we do this, number one, just to lengthen the spine, right? To really stack the vertebrae of the spine, pick up that foot, take it to the opposite side of the left leg. Look at those left toes. Can you flex the foot and can you spread those toes? And then hug the right knee in just a little bit closer. We're going to go for a nice twist here. This is a twist for the spine, but at the same time, it's an opening for the piriformis muscle that just kind of wraps around the back of the glute. So take a deep breath, get that spine nice and long. Whether you hug that knee in with the left elbow, bring the right hand behind you. Again, find your length in the spine. Drop that back shoulder tip down and notice your breath. And again, it doesn't have to be the perfect pose. You just have to feel the pose, right? So that left foot is flexed. You might be able to feel the length in the back of the left leg. But here, I want you to feel the wrap from the low back through that glute into the connection into the hamstring, and take 3 breaths here. We'll release that, bring the torso back to center, switch it around. Grab that right knee with the right elbow, take the left hand and take a bow to the left. Again, just a counter stretch into the spine. Nice and easy. Coming back up, we'll release the right leg. Both feet flexed, give a little bit of a shake to the legs, maybe a massage to that hip crease, and then we'll gently go to the other side. So we'll gently pick up that left knee, plant the left foot, draw it in. Use that leverage, again, to bring length from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. Taking a breath, look at those right toes. Are they spread? Is that right foot flexed? Good. And we'll take the twist here this time. Left or right elbow, hugging in that knee as the left fingertips come behind. Press into the fingertips, nice and long, big spine here, and then take a twist. And as you settle in here and you squeeze that knee into the chest, again, see if you can isolate that muscle, that piriformis muscle from the low back into the hip, the glute, the hamstring. Taking a breath. Oops, sorry. Take the foot over. My mistake. Take the foot over, hug it in. Just going, why didn't I not feel it on this side? Deep breath. And we'll switch it out. Torso comes forward. Switch the elbows. Left elbow hugging that knee. Right hand again behind you. Take a bow. And returning to center. Releasing the left foot long. Finding Dandasana. Seated staff pose. Fingertips outside of the hips. Press into the fingertips again to extend the spine long, the chest forward. Draw a nice full deep breath. Extend the arms up towards the ceiling as you reach in. Lengthen the side body. Take a bow, come forward. Take that right hand to the left ankle, the left hand to the right ankle. Use that leverage to draw you forward. Then bend the elbows as you take a fold. Again, heels press away so that you feel the energy in the back of the legs. But then as you soften into this pose, see if you can feel the connection from the hamstrings, the glutes to the low back, and then melt into that. One more big inhale, lowers into the thighs as much as you can on the exhale. And then inhale, look up at your toes, look past your toes, extend the arms, bring them back up. Stand up and slowly bring them down. Good. Bend into the knees. We're going to move ourselves right back around, finding our tabletop. So once you arrive, again, support the knees if you need. Spread the fingers, palms press down, a couple cat-cows just to release maybe the sway of the hips, just to, again, wash all of that out. It's going to take a moment to remove my padding under the knees. Last cat-cow. Tuck those toes under. Lift the hips up towards the ceiling and then press them back behind you. Press into your palms so that the chest comes towards the thighs. The heels don't have to hit. Just maybe pedal it out. One heel reaching and then the other. Again, igniting the hamstrings and the calves. Notice if you're trying to hold your head up, I like the cue, look at your belly button. You're not going to see it, but notice how that really drops the head and finds some length into the neck. Then coming to stillness, bring the feet together at the center of your mat. Big toe mounds together, press into the palms. Again, send the hips up high towards the ceiling. And with your in-breath, lift the right leg up. Keep the shoulders squared to the top of the mat. Take a bend into that right knee. Let's make some circles forward, knee to the top, back, and side. Nice and slow, rolling that femur right through the hip joint. Reverse for 3. Re-extend the leg, 3-legged dog. And then slowly lower the right foot to meet the left. Deep breath, press into the palms. Send the chest down towards the thighs, release the head. Second side, left leg lifts. Only the leg here, the whole rest of the body stays still. Take a bend into that left knee. Begin forward circles, as big, as fast, as feels good. And then reverse it, take it the other way. And then back to that 3-legged dog here, extend. And then the right foot joins the left. We come up on the balls of the feet. Bend the knees as you wave yourself into a plank. Drop the knees, squeeze the shoulders in, or elbows in as you lower slowly to the mat. Find a baby cobra of your choice. Lower back down. 2 more. Squeeze the glutes here. Last one. Extend your left arm long overhead, resting on the palm of the hand. So length from the fingertips on the left side to the left toes, untuck. Take a bend into that right knee, point the toes towards the ceiling. Use the right hand behind you. Reach for the ankle or your pant leg. Draw the heel in close to the glute. So yes, we do stretch the hamstrings, just as important to stretch through the quad. So again, your shoulders are square. Your belly rests. We focus the breath right on the quad. And here, if you want just a little bit more, lift the right knee off of the mat, even if it's just a quarter of an inch. And breathe. Release everything and lower. Extend the right arm to meet the left, forming that number 11. Reach through the fingers. Then take a bend into the left knee. Point the left toes up towards the ceiling. Leave the right arm extended as you swing the left arm out to the side and around. Grab whatever you can grab and draw the heel in towards your glute. Keep the shoulders square. Feel into the left quad. And if you want a little bit more, lift that left knee off of the mat, press the heel, the ankle of the leg into the hand. A little more intense. Use your breath. And then lower that down, relax. Both arms extend overhead. Forehead rests on the mat. We're going to go into both legs now. So bend into the knees, point the toes. Draw the hands beside the body, reach for what you can reach for. If it's the ankles, press the ankles into the hands, lift your chest, lift your knees. Yes, work into the back, and at the same time, squeeze the glutes. One more breath, and lower. Legs go straight, hands come underneath the shoulders, press your way back to table. Big toe mounds come together, the knees go as wide as you can. Find your child's pose here. Extend the arms, drop the head, drop the chest. So the further out the knees, the more you're going to feel this opening in through the hips. Take 3 breaths here. Slowly walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. Draw the knees together, tuck the toes, lift the hips, find a forward fold at the back of your mat. So walk the hands back. Feet can be hip distance apart, whatever you need for your stability here. Take a sway with the hips, right and left. And heel toe the feet in just a little bit. They don't have to touch, just a little bit closer. Bring the left hand outside that right ankle. Straighten that right leg as you bend through the left knee. So the more you bend through the left knee, the more you're going to feel the muscles riding outside of the right leg. See if you can keep the right leg straight, left leg bent, hand to the ankle. Bring your hand to your sacrum. Take a twist over to the right. Maybe the arm extends up. Maybe you roll through the wrist, expand through the fingers. Release any tension or tightness that you find there. Same time, focuses on the hamstring. So notice what's going on in that straight right leg. And then finish this side with a bind, half bind, hand comes to the back. Let that open you up just a little bit more. Keep that bend in the left knee. Nice full deep breath in. And out. Arm re-extends, arm floats down. Let both arms dangle, gentle bend into both legs. Again, you can sway through the hips. We'll move to the other side. This time a bend, a generous bend into the right knee as the left leg straightens. Right hand to the outside of the ankle or the calf. The left arm extends up and rests on the sacrum. So just beginning a twist, but at the same time, bringing this length into the back of the left leg. Soften with your breath. Extend the arm if you did so on the other side. Again, maybe roll through the wrist, the fingers, and some circulation there. And then half bind here. So bring the back of the hand maybe all the way over to the opposite waist. Press in, rotate. Keep that bend into the right knee. Open the chest to the left. Full deep breath. Release nice and easy. Let that arm flow back down. Release both hands to the mat. Everything dangles. Release the neck. Shake it yes and no. And then slowly bend the knees, press into your feet. Roll your way up to stand, allowing the arms to come out and to come up. Adjusting the camera angle here. Out and to come up. Maybe the gaze goes up. Maybe you can extend back just a bit into a gentle back bend. And then circle the arms out to the side, straight spine, forward fold. And hands. Halfway lift, tailbone to the crown of the head, nice and long. Scoop in the belly, squeeze through the shoulder blades, and then bow forward. And again, half lift. Legs straight, feel again the back of the legs, the connection into the hips from the hamstrings, shift the weight into the balls of the feet. And then fold again. And last one, inhale, get long. And exhale, fold down. And then press into the feet, bend the knees, rise right back up, reach out and up overhead. Find that prayer, maybe take it behind you. And then draw your hands to heart center. Pause for a breath. We're going to take a walk to the top of the mat. So just bring yourself. I'm going to again adjust this. As you arrive to the top of the mat, again, we want to find our foundation here. So we lift the toes, we spread them. And we drop them down one at a time. Close down the eyes from the top of our head through the body. We feel all the way down to the feet. On the inhale, we're going to move here. Lift the arms out and overhead. Swan dive forward as you fold. Shine the heart forward as you lift and as you exhale and fold. If you use block in your lunge series, find your blocks. Otherwise, fingertips to the mat. Step the right foot back. Runner's lunge first. Separate the feet. Lift the heart space. Find the length. Heel to the crown of the head. Drop the back knee. Untuck the back toes. Again, press the chest forward. Climb onto that left thigh, bringing the spine up and straight, tuck in the belly. So before we just kind of dump into this lunge, maybe you bring that left foot forward just a bit, slide the left knee forward, and just come to where you feel the stretch in the right hip flexor. So we're not coming all the way down here. We're keeping a nice tight belly, long spine, pelvis down, just to the point of feeling into that hip flexor. Take a breath. We'll bring the fingertips back to the mat as we straighten that front leg, coming into that half splits. So initially, I like to keep my foot planted. Why? Because I get this beautiful stretch right through the top of that left ankle that I don't get in the course of a day. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders, then lift the toes to the ceiling. Heart to toes. Chest is up, not head to knee. Pause here. See if you can relax the back of that left leg. One more full breath. And we'll slowly lower that left foot again. Again, stretching from that big toe mound all the way through the ankle and the shin to the knee. Walk the hands forward as you come back into that low lunge. Lift the back heel. Yep, we got to do the quad here. Just lift it up till you feel the stretch in the front of the right. Maybe you grab onto that ankle, maybe you don't. Just come into the sensation. And gently we'll release that. Again, frame the front foot, lift the back knee as you tuck the toes, hop it forward to find your fold. And your lift. And your fold. Press into the feet, bend the knees, rise up, reach out, reach up. Stretch it out, find the prayer, do the baby back bend, and then swan dive forward, straight spine, forward fold. And lift. And fold. Plant the hands, blocks or fingertips, left leg to side, second side. Find your runner's lunge. Find that space between your feet so that you can really feel stable. Shine the heart forward. Drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. Again, press into your fingertips. Then walk onto the thigh with the hands, press your way up, level out your hips. Walk that right foot just a little bit further. Then come down with control. Pelvis down, belly in. Just to where you feel this. You're holding it. We're not just dumping here, right? We're holding. Full breath. Move into the half splits. So fingers come back down to the mat. Begin to straighten that front leg. Keep the foot planted as long as it doesn't cause you any discomfort in the top of your foot or the ankle. Breathe there for a moment. Again, send the chest forward, spine long. Then press into the heel, lift the toes, deepen the stretch through the hamstrings. Draw in the belly, draw in your breath, soften where you can. Heart to toes, you guys, look past them. One more full deep breath in. Soften on the exhale. Inhale, we're going to slowly drop that front foot back down, rebend through the knee. Walk the hands forward again. Quad stretch on this side, bend into the left knee. Just draw the heel up any amount till you feel that quad engage. Maybe the hand assists, maybe it doesn't matter. Just feel. A gentle release here. frame the front foot. This time we're going to take that front foot and we're going to just scoot it back and we're going to move right into a tabletop position. Again, restack your joints, draw in your belly, take a cat and a cow. A nice sway right to left of the hips. Moving into our grand finale, and I'm going to let you choose because it's frog pose, and we all know frog pose is intense. So you can do one leg or both, or even take that tadpole position where instead of the feet going from one side to the other side, they come in like a child's pose, toes together. So I'm going to take full, and I'm going to grab my blanket or my towel. I'm going to place it across my mat so that my knees have a little bit of comfort. So again, it's intense. You want to make yourself just as comfortable as possible. Place the knees on the mat, maybe walk the hands forward, and then as far as you can, like you were doing the Chinese splits here on your knees. Take the knees wide. Then look over to the left side. Left ankle now is right in line with the left knee, the left toes pointing straight out to the side. Look over to the right, adjust the ankle right in line with the knee, spread the toes to the right. Nice and easy. Maybe there's a little more room here to slide the knees. If you're doing one knee at a time, just come onto your belly, do the same thing. So here I'm in full frog. I'm going to drop down onto my forearms. Fingers spread wide. Draw my belly in, and I'm going to set my hips back towards my heels. I'm going to do it slowly because, again, this is intense. Any amount, just to where you feel it. And then breathe. Five more nice, slow, deep breaths. Let the hips settle here. It's intense and we try to hold it up, but if we can just let the hips find where they need to find. Let the body open where it needs to open. And don't worry what it looks like. Two more rounds of breath. And then nice and slow, I'm going to bring my hips back in level with the knees as I place one hand under a shoulder and the other. So coming out just as gracefully as we can, bring the big toe mounds together if you're in full frog and slide the knees back together so that you're back into your table. Take a cat and a cow, the sway of the hips. Bring the knees together, the inner feet together. Set the hips back towards the heels. Drop the ribs onto the thighs, the forehead to a block or your mat. Slide the arms beside the body so that the palms face up and allow the shoulders to curl in. And here you're relaxing all of the hip, inner thigh, nothing to do. Just bring your focus to the tailbone, to your breath as that breath rides from the tailbone through the sacrum, the low back, the low ribs, the shoulder blades spreading, the shoulder tips softening, the chest at rest. Release any clenching in the face, the jaw, the forehead. Fill the body with breath. It's compressed on the front side, so you have to back body breathe here. Use this moment to fill the back of the lungs, to expand the back of the ribs. And this, my friends, is where I'm going to leave you today. Again, if you have the luxury of time, use it for your Shavasana. And I'll look for you tomorrow for a Friday flow. Namaste.